Good morning. Today I'm going to be showing you step by step through my interactive module planning template. My topic is the importance of animals, and in order to learn this topic, you only need to have a knowledge of the different livestock species. The Indiana State Standard that I will be using is on animal products and services, and it is Core Standard 8.1 of the ISTE standards. It states, students will evaluate animal products and services to demonstrate the importance of animals. My target audience will be high school students, and my IM platform that I will be using for the entire interactive module will be the Weebly website. Now, under my State Standard 8.1, I have my template broken up into 3 major learning objectives, as you can see here, here, and here. Now, in these 3 learning objectives, for all of them, we have 3 separate subpoints under one main point. So we're going to get started with learning objective 1. My first learning objective is, given a list of everyday products, high school students will be able to identify what livestock animals provide us with which good, such as animal byproducts creating things like footballs. Now, my first main point is animals create products that we use every day. Now, in this part of the instruction, we're going to be using a purpose game, which is a matching game online. And I chose this because the way that I want my students to be quizzed is by having a list of all of the different animal products, such as footballs, lipsticks, nail polishes, different things like that, milk, eggs, and you're going to have to determine which livestock that it goes to. So this matching game will give you 20 different pictures of these everyday products, and you'll have to match it up with the correct animal. Students will review this matching game involving everyday products, and it's going to be an interactive portion. Down into subpoint 1, all 3 subpoints 1, 2, and 3, will all use the same kind of assessment tool as used in the first one, since they're all related to the same thing. So now, if you break down each of these subpoints, you have discovering products coming from cattle, from sheep, and from pigs. That's subpoint 1, 2, and 3. Now, in these, 2 of them are going to be passive, and 1 of them is going to be interactive. In subpoint 1, the students are going to have a passive lesson because they will be watching a PowerPoint on animals, on cattle, and what their products are. In subpoint 2, the students will be asked to watch an interactive video on the many products created by sheep wool, and then they'll answer questions on the piece of paper as they appear on the screen. This interactive video will be using PowerPoint and Edpuzzle. In subpoint 3, in discovering products from pigs, students will also be watching a PowerPoint on the various products produced from pigs, and this will be passive also. Now, like I mentioned before, these 3, subpoint 1, 2, and 3, will all be using the same assessment used in main point 1, which will be the matching game that the students will take after they're finished with the entire lesson. Now into main point, or learning objective 2. Given time to observe human-animal interaction, high school students will be able to write down at least 5 observations about the animal's behavior and the human's reactions within 2 minutes. Now, my main point 1 is that animals are amazing companion partners. And this lesson is going to be interactive. Students will be asked to observe human interactions and write down behavioral changes that they notice. They will be given a PowerPoint, and throughout the PowerPoint, they're going to be writing down these different interactions. Now, for the assessment, the students will take the observations formed in main point 2 and create a presentation on what they've learned, and they'll present it in front of the class. So the biggest part of that is they're just going to take all the different behavioral changes that they see and present to their classmates exactly what they're seeing. Now, in this presentation, because that's going to be like their big final project, it's broken down into 3 different levels of assessment. So in subpoint 1, the kids will get a checkpoint 1. Now this checkpoint will be assigned to them a week after it started, and the first checkpoint will be just an outline of what their presentation is going to be. In checkpoint 2, the assignment will be a rough draft of their final presentation, and it'll include all of their observations and additional research. And then the very last assessment will be checkpoint 3, which will be due 2 days before the presentation is due. And the final checkpoint will be a complete written script of what they're going to present to the class, and they will turn that in to me. Back up to sub-point 1, the students will be looking at how do the moods of humans alter after different animals are around. Through this, they will be using Microsoft Word, search engines, and a PowerPoint. So they're going to be watching an interactive PowerPoint, and the students will further their personal research on the emotions that they see interacted in main point 2. Now I chose these different technologies because the search engines will allow them to do extra research, and then they will fill out their checkpoint on Microsoft Word, and then they will be creating this new presentation through PowerPoint. That's why all three technologies are the same. Now in subpoint 2, the students will be looking at how the emotion is physically expressed. So when humans are surrounded by animals, how do they smile? Do they clap? Do they jump up and down? Things like that. Those are their emotion physically being expressed. And they will also further their personal research on this as well as in subpoint 3. In subpoint 3, they're saying how emotion is verbally expressed, such as, yay, oh, they're so cute, I love it so much. Just is seeing how different people react around different livestock types. Finally, we're at learning objective 3, and this is, when given a set of examples, students will be able to recognize the differences between service animals, therapy, and emotional support animals. Now for main point 1, the students will be searching animals provide us with services that people use all over the world. Now this is mainly a passive portion of the module. 2 of the 3 points of this objective will be revolved around watching something. So animal services can be a very touchy topic, and I found that videos are the most powerful way to relay the importance of this standard. This main point will be able to show the students overall what the different subjects are, such as services, therapy, and emotional support. This first main point is passive, as is the first subpoint, and oh, that's it, just 2 of them. And then the last 2 are going to be interactive. Now, as for technology, I have an interactive PowerPoint and a screencast. Like I had mentioned to you earlier, I feel like that is the best way for students to get the most out of it without actually having the animals in the classroom. So we will be creating an interactive PowerPoint and screencasting over it to show you the different forms of service animals. Now, for this first section, how I'm going to assess the students will be that students must write an essay about one form of animal service and explain what the animal does and how it benefits the people. When I say one form of animal service, if you come up here, that could be a service animal, a therapy animal, or an emotional support animal. So say they want to choose service, and they choose a seeing eye dog. So what you would do was you would write an essay on how a seeing eye dog benefits its people and what it does in order to benefit them. Now if you come down into subpoint 1, you're going to be looking at what kinds of relationships do seeing eye dogs have with their owners. So students will be able to go to an online video, which will be a passive portion, and they'll be able to watch a recorded interview with a person who has a seeing eye dog, and it'll be like a hands-on account. Now to be assessed, the students will be doing a quick online survey, and the survey will be 5 questions long, and it'll be about the responsibility of service animals. Now the next subpoint is assessed the exact same way. The students will be doing a 5-question long survey on the responsibility of service animals, such as therapy horses. Now in this one, the students will be watching an interactive video just like before. But the students will be able to watch an online video on what horse therapy is and how it greatly impacts those who are in it. And it is going to have questions just like our second module did. And the students will be writing down answers as the interactive video continues. Lastly, we have subpoint 3, which is what is an emotional support animal and how does it differ from the other 2 categories. Students will be given 3 different situations. Each situation will involve a person with an emotional or a traumatic problem, and the students must work together in teams to determine which form of animal service would benefit the patient most. This is interactive. It gets the students up and moving and working with their classmates. In order for us to find these answers, we're going to give them an online forum. And the students will be assessed by a short answer quiz, and they will be given the definitions of a service animal, a support animal, and a therapy animal, and they must be able to identify which is which. So on the online form, they will have the definition of a service animal, and they're going to have to list whether it is service, therapy, or emotional support. And that is our entire lesson. Now, if you come all the way down here to the bottom, we have our content resources, and so I'll mainly be using websites, first-hand sources, and online books to find all of my information. And lastly, we're going to have our technology tools and resources, and I will be using Weebly, iMovie, PowerPoint, Edpuzzle, Purpose Games, and YouTube. So that is everything. Thank you so much for watching.